it always goes, we wake up every morning and look in the mirror, seeing the same person we saw the day before, and it's hard for us to see our own growth. However, in the past few weeks, mainly since our service trip to New Orleans, I've begun to notice how both I and the things around me have in fact changed over the course of high school more than I had previously taken the time to notice. I've been on 2 WSCG service trips, one freshman year and one senior year, bookending my high school career. On every trip, each person writes their name on a paper bag and leaves that all week, while others write notes that basically tell you all the things that they think are good and nice about you. Before my service trip to North Carolina freshman year, I admittedly felt a little bit uncomfortable and awkward in WSCG due to the slightly intimidating awesomeness of some of the older members. But over the course of the trip, I began to feel more secure and comfortable as a member of WSCG, and my notes only confirmed the fact that I belonged. Here are a few excerpts from notes I received. You are awesome. It's hard to be unhappy when you're around, and I'm obsessed with you. that one was anonymous. I still don't know who wrote that. I'll also these notes made me feel so good that I preserved them in a scrapbook of sorts and stored them on a shelf above my desk where I promptly forgot about them. Then during my sophomore year, a lot of changes started occurring within WSCG, changes that I'm sure you all are already aware of. By the end of my sophomore year, many of my favorite upperclassmen graduated and the leadership of the group had changed. The main issue with these changes was not that the people in the group or the people leading the group had changed, but instead that we, or rather I, unfairly pegged the identity of WSCG on a small group of people. I didn't want WSCG to change. I wanted to remain the same as it had been in my freshman year, and I saw the exodus of the main leadership group as the death of WSCG itself. Don't worry, it's going to get happy again, I swear. So last year, before the first meeting of the year even happened, I decided that WSCG would not and could not be what it had once been. It didn't really matter what our leader did or what other people did in the group to save WSCG because I was stuck in my own toxic mentality. When I found out at the end of the year that leadership would be changing again, I didn't have much hope for the future. So now, chronologically, we're at the beginning of senior year. Under the leadership of Catherine and Sam, meetings began to resemble a format more similar to the meetings from when I was an underclassman. Attendance improved, and we began to plan a service trip like the ones WSCG has always been known for. Without even really being conscious of it, my faith in WSCG began to be renewed, and I started to be excited to come to meetings again. I thought to myself, WSCG is back to how it used to be. It wasn't until after our service trip a few weeks ago that I realized that this wasn't entirely true. In New Orleans, we all once again put our names on bags and wrote each other notes. I couldn't wait to read them when I got home, hoping that they would say similar things as when I was a freshman. Here are a few highlights from this year's bag. You are a difference maker. You have a talent for engaging others and getting them to follow you. Your role as a caretaker and leader has helped make WSCG a family again. Right after reading those, I found my notes from freshman year and reread them. I found that I liked what was written about me this year more than what was written about me 3 years ago. A lot of my notes freshman year were vague and overarching, talking about how people liked being around me, while my notes this year are more specific about my character and about why people think I make a good leader. Now, maybe some of the people on this year's trip were simply more articulate than some of the people on my last trip. But nonetheless, it led me to a moment of reflection about how I have changed from a lowly freshman who was scared of my older brother's friends to a senior who tries to lead and help others feel comfortable. And I think something similar can be said about the way that WSCG has grown in its renewal process. I feel that now, more than ever, WSCG is truly a youth group, as in a group of youths. WSCG is governed by the members and for the members, and the identity is not based on a small group of leadership, but rather on the entire community as a whole, a network of interlocking parts with no responsibility falling too heavily on any one person. So now to return to that mirror thing I talked about at the beginning. Don't know if you remember it, but if you don't, I'm just going to keep going anyway. Tomorrow morning, I'll probably look in the mirror while I brush my teeth. I'll also probably look in the mirror again the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. And unless I chop off all my hair or tattoo my face or something, I'm never going to see a dramatic change day to day. And also in the years to come, I'm not going to have WSEG and WSEG service trips there to create situations in which self-reflection kind of hits me in the face, whether through reading notes from a service trip or writing a senior statement. But because of my experiences with WSEG, I think that I now have a greater ability to create those situations for myself. And hopefully in the years to come, I can sit back every now and again and think about what sorts of notes people would put in my bag. Thank you.